How about instead of bickering, we figure out our next move against the Speedster and his allies?
Legion of Doom has a sexual ring to it.
I'm not calling them that.
Is it smaller than a Quinjet?
That's classified. And yes, considerably.
It all started when we blew up the Time Pigs, the Time Masters. Now history's all screwed up, and it's up to us to unscrew it up. But half the time we screw things up even worse. So don't call us heroes. We're something else. We're legends. Who writes this crap anyway?
Welcome to the Phantom Zone, episode 111, for the week ending July 22nd, 2017. I am one of your co-hosts, Karen.
I'm the other one, Charles.
Thank you for continuing the theme for us this week again.
You're very welcome.
And we will be discussing a couple of shows this week, and there's a bunch of news that you've probably already heard since this won't come out for a few more days, but we want to talk about it anyway.
For those of you living under rocks.
Right. SDCC is happening as we record. That is, for you guys who aren't mega geeks like us, that's San Diego Comic-Con.
And if not, why not?
Right?
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about a few of the things that happened, and some of these things have happened as we are sitting here.
Yep.
So, we're just noticing it.
So
we're
local
gonna talk about that.
news.
So we're going to get that out of the way right up front. First of all, the last thing that just happened was Wynonna Earp was renewed for season 3.
Very nice.
Which is awesome. Iron Fist.
Justina has to be thrilled.
I know. Well, I am too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I love it. Iron Fist has been renewed for season 2 with new showrunners.
Yay!
And it's the showrunner from the early season of Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, is it the early season?
Is that what you said?
I don't know. I didn't look it up.
Oh, you just said Sleepy Hollow.
I just said Sleepy Hollow,
Sleepy Hollow
and Falling Skies.
Falling Skies. Okay. So, yeah,
Well,
okay.
Yeah, so we'll see. It has to be better than what Scott Buck was doing.
I'm guessing.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Hopefully at least we'll get some better fights.
Yeah. Let's hope so.
Yeah, because Falling Skies had really pretty good action. So,
yeah, it did.
I'm hopeful.
And Sleepy Hollow had great action.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Fingers crossed, guys.
Yeah. A bunch of really good trailers have come out. Please, go on TV Line. There's a header on TV Line that says Comic-Con. Right. You can just click right on that, and it'll take you to all the news. But you can probably go to YouTube and type it in.
Or Damn Good Coffee and Hot, just saying.
Or our Facebook page, and Damn Good Coffee and Hot. Punisher trailer, a Defender trailer. There's been a Justice League trailer.
Yep.
What else?
Oh, let's see. I'm trying to remember what else.
A lot of other things.
There was like a new Inhumans trailer.
Yes, Inhumans trailer. That was yesterday.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not.
Yeah.
Remembering everything.
But a lot of his stuff has just been announced.
Right. And Brainiac and Doomsday are going to be on Krypton.
The Krypton teaser was officially released.
Right.
Finally, but
they're saying it's going to be like a timey-wimey thing.
Yeah, apparently, interestingly enough, according to the article I read, at least, that Brainiac and Doomsday are supposed to be part of this series somehow. Brainiac maybe because if he was a computer on Krypton, like in the Superman animated series. But apparently there may be some stuff set in the past on Krypton, which would primarily most of it, and then also maybe some present day stuff by the sounds of it.
Cool.
So do we maybe get Superman on that show?
That would be awesome.
That would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Tom Welling has just been cast or just been announced.
Speaking of Superman,
that's right. On Lucifer, he's going to be a detective who is working alongside Chloe Decker. His name is something Pierce.
Okay.
I know that because that's my I am Nee Pierce. That's my maiden name.
Oh, okay, got it.
So that it's stuck in my head.
Well,
So
hopefully this means he starts hitting the Comic-Con circuit so I can get his autograph.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be.
So he's gonna kind of be if he's not a rival for Lucifer, Lucifer's gonna think of him that way. That's how it looked to me.
Right.
Whether he's vying for Chloe's attention or not, Lucifer's gonna be jealous of him.
He really needs to appear on Supergirl, though.
Yeah.
Right?
I would hope so. It won't bar him from being on Supergirl.
I wouldn't think, but
No.
maybe it'll give him the encouragement.
Right.
To be a part of it.
Speaking of which, Erica Durance was cast
Yes.
to be on Supergirl, and Callista Flockhart has confirmed that she will be on the season 3 premiere. And let's see, for the Big Bad on Legion, we are going to have, instead of Aubrey Plaza playing the Shadow King, Saeed Tagmaoui.
Right.
I think
it's
that's how you
a
pronounce
tough
it.
one to pronounce.
Yeah. He was Samir on Wonder Woman. He will
Right.
be playing the Shadow.
Or is it going to be two of them playing the Shadow
It might be. Or it might be more than 2. You never know.
Because I hope we don't
never
lose Aubrey Plaza. Because
I hope not either.
she's
but
fantastic. But if we
Yeah.
do,
they haven't said that they're losing Aubrey Plaza.
yeah. So hopefully it's just that in addition to Aubrey Plaza.
Right.
Yeah.
And he may just be playing the real life alter ego of the Shadow King.
Yeah, because maybe he'll be. Well, he is playing Amal Farouk,
Mm-hmm.
so maybe this will be the tangible,
Right.
the bodily form.
Right. And Aubrey
of
Plaza
Amal Farouk.
plays, the other,
the more
the
like
impish
the
background.
the introspective,
Right.
the subconscious, or the
Right. And the one that can break in and out of everyone's mind.
for mindscape scenes.
Right.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. And there's a lot more, so please check on Charles's blog, Damn Good Coffee and Hot.
Damn good coffee and hot.
And our Facebook page, where you can also find links to his blog. So please check there. And also at Fandom Zonecast on Twitter.
Yeah.
There will be some stuff there as well.
Yeah, I'll be posting more articles as time permits because, lots of stuff came out today. And hopefully I'm going to try to get caught up a little bit tomorrow because we're recording on Saturday, but I'll be off home on Sunday. And hopefully get caught up and post some more news as it arrives.
Awesome. Make sure to post all that stuff on Twitter.
Yeah, I will. I always do.
Good. Okay.
So, what are we going to talk about with the TV episodes? We only have 2 this week.
2 this week. Wynonna Earp 205, Whiskey Lullaby, and Preacher 204, Dallas.
Yes.
I'm sorry, not that Dallas.
That's okay. I was thinking of the Doors song, that Next Whiskey Bar.
Oh, different episodes. You were thinking of the Wynonna Earp one, and I was thinking of the Preacher one. Well, they were both.
Show me the way to the next whiskey bar.
They were both really interesting episodes, and we differ on Preacher.
Yes, we do. And that's
I can't wait to talk to you about it.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little conflict on Preacher, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
I was a little let down by Preacher this week.
I think I probably know why too.
Hopefully, you know why.
No, I know why.
Okay, all right. So we'll get into that. Do you want to do Preacher first?
Filer.
Oh,
is that what it is?
Well, not just that, but we'll get into that.
Is that a part of it?
Could be part of it, a small part of it.
Okay.
That's not my major rant about it, though.
Okay. So, first Wynonna Earp.
Building the suspense.
Yeah, since that was last week's episode of Wynonna Earp, I figured we'd start with that.
Fine. That's fine. We can do that.
Okay, so
written by Caitlin D. Friars, directed by April Mullen, who directed the previous episode.
Okay.
And isn't this Wynonna Earp episode 6? Or no.
No, it's 5.
No, it's 5. You're right. No. Preacher is episode 5.
Oh, you're right. This is 6.
Yeah, so we're
very sorry.
That's okay. We got to update those episodes.
And Dallas is 5.
Dallas is 5. That's what was throwing me there.
I took those from your document.
You did?
I did.
Don't.
Okay.
So
Anyway.
I'll take the blame for it. But yeah, it's 206 Wynonna Earp, 205 Dallas.
Okay, so
Or
206
Preacher.
Whiskey Lullaby, and you gave the director and writer.
Yes.
So he wrote 205 as well.
Okay.
Is that what you said?
Oh yeah. Well, the director April Mullen directed 205.
Okay. So she.
Yes.
Okay, great.
No big deal.
Okay, so the A story is All Hail the Hip Widows
Right.
instead of Hypnotoad.
Right. All glory to the Hypnotoad.
Right. Right. Old friends, they're never like you remembered them.
Okay.
And it's kind of the same storyline, but not. And then he was already all in, if you know what I mean.
And I know what that refers to.
Yeah.
I had to pause that and read it off for Lori because it was really tough to read his handwriting.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm reading it off the computer, so
Yeah, but
it was this big on my screen.
It was really tough. I had it up there, and I'm because when it's on the word all, it kind of blurred
Well,
the A and
the
A. I know that old timey, really
oldie-timey
swooshy cursive
right.
that the A blurred into the L, and it's just
right.
Okay, I have no idea what he's writing here, but
I got super choked up when I saw that.
Yeah,
super choked up.
The tears are falling.
Right?
Yeah.
By the way, let's just talk about that. Okay. Now, last week we found out she was pregnant.
Yep.
And this week, now, you had said to me, I wonder what they're going to do about her pregnancy. And I chuckled.
Yeah,
because I had already seen this episode. Now, I haven't seen the next one, even though I have it.
Right.
I just haven't watched it yet. But I had already seen this one when we discussed the last one. And you said, well, what are they going to do about her pregnancy? And I said, yeah, what are they going to do about it? And
And you're over there going,
right. Now, one of my thoughts is, of course, maybe the baby's special and now this magic has happened to it. And the hypno guy has said something about it being special now.
Right.
So
wasn't the whole thing that if she gives birth to an heir, doesn't the heir become the curse pass on?
They have to mature. They have to mature to a certain age.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
They can't just pick up the gun as a baby.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, That,
yes,
that power
it
is
would be
dormant.
the heir at a certain point in its life.
Got it.
Now, here's my issue: is that he said to her, his name was Hypno.
Who? Hypno. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So he said to her, your baby should have stayed the same as it was. It shouldn't have gotten older.
Right.
But it did.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself, when she gives birth, is it going to rapidly age?
Ooh, yeah, that's it. That would be interesting. You know what that would probably mean? They'll age it and then figure out a way to stop it when the kid's 12 or so.
Right.
Or 14.
They'll come across some way to stop it.
Yeah.
And that way there won't have to be a baby on the show.
Exactly. She won't have to take care of a baby, but we'll have Dawn from Buffy walking around, if you catch the reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's my thought, especially since they had this timey-wimey thing happening. Well, not going back in time, but you know what I mean, stopping time.
I know what you mean.
And he said to her that, the baby should have not matured,
right?
But there's something special about it, and so I'm thinking to myself, oh well, they're gonna age it. So that's my thing. And in this episode, of course, there's this love triangle happening, which had already existed, and the three of them were all aware that it had existed.
Well, at the moment, it's not much of a triangle because dolls isn't really a factor at this point.
No, but in this episode, it was.
Yeah.
During the course of this episode, it was.
Yeah.
So she goes to lunch with dolls, ready to tell him that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
And
finally,
of course,
well, at first she didn't want to.
Right, but she feels like she has to, which is good.
Yeah. Well, everybody, I think Waverly encouraged her. It's look, eventually people are going to notice. And sure enough, they do in this episode.
Yeah, and it's sad because Waverly's she's like, okay, you can ask me one question. Okay, how many months are you along? Nope. Nope, not that question.
Yeah.
And I thought she was going to ask who the father is, but I think it's pretty apparent
Well, I think
who the father is.
I think this was Waverly's clever way of trying to do the math backwards to figure out
To
who the
see who it was.
father
But
was.
who has she slept with otherwise? I mean,
Well, we don't know. She could have slept with dolls on the side.
no, I don't think so. I
don't
think
think
this
so?
was their first kiss.
She slept with other people, though.
Well, yeah, before Doc.
Right.
So maybe they were talking about that.
Yeah, but Doc. I mean, everybody seems to think it's Doc's, and Doc seems to think it's Doc's.
It's Doc's.
So
I mean, Wynonna confirmed that.
right. Well, did she confirm it, or was she just saying, like, no, it has to be Doc's, and it turns out to be somebody else's?
No, she wouldn't just tell Doc it's his and then it not be his.
Maybe she's mistaken. Maybe she thinks it's his, and it turns out to be somebody else's.
Oh, I hope it's Doc's. I really do.
I'm just saying there's that possibility. I'm not saying.
I guess.
Yeah. I'm just trying to cover all the angles here.
I know. Well,
let's hope that doesn't happen.
It's not a spirit or anything because she hadn't been possessed or anything before she was pregnant.
That's true.
So
she got possessed after she was pregnant. So you would think possession would have affected the kid somehow.
The thing apparently couldn't linger in her body because of the pregnancy. Right. So the pregnancy was stronger than the thing.
It was like an immunity.
Right.
Yeah. So
that says a lot about the baby already. And, Doc is kind of magical as well.
Right. Because, hey, he's
kind of immortal.
We don't really know exactly what he is, but, yeah, apparently he's immortal.
Right. That line last week where, what's his name, Jeremy?
Yeah.
He licks that plate and he says, 1954, was that a good year? And Doc says, I was at the bottom of a well. and he says, well.
Which was good continuity.
Yeah, it was. So, I really liked that Doc was aware of where he was all that time, which was, that's just horrific to me. But
yeah, it's just like, okay, here it is, year number 30 or whatever. I'm still in the well.
Yeah, 130.
I think this year I'll turn around this way.
Right?
Right? What else is there to do? You would think in all that time he would have figured out how to climb out of the well.
Yeah, you would think.
You think all you have to do is just like tap, 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 and eventually over time build himself some finger holes and get out of the well.
You would think.
Just saying.
Yeah. Well, there was something that kept him down there, I think.
Okay. Maybe, yeah.
But, we haven't learned that much about him, have we?
Yeah, we haven't. There's a lot of story potential there that hasn't been explored.
Yeah, I want to learn more about it.
How did he get in the well in the first place?
Right.
Right? There's a story there.
Yeah.
As a writer, that's the story I want to know.
It has a lot to do with, like, the town.
Yeah.
And all the...
And and what happened, what were the circumstances where he became an immortal?
Right.
So, yeah.
Did Wyatt shoot him as well?
I don't know. Get on the stick, Emily Andress.
Is that how he got cured? Someone went overboard?
Well, I'm thinking, wasn't it like the Stone Witch that maybe cursed him and then threw him down the well as punishment?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, we know he has issues with the Stone Witch.
Right. So I figured that maybe they were involved at some point. Maybe she cursed him. Being immortal was a curse.
Right.
And chucked him in the well.
Right. Speaking of which, Brother Deer chopped the head of the Stone Witch off.
Yep.
And threw it on his sister's doorstep.
Yep.
Whoops. Sisters don't like that.
Most people would just, light a bag of dog poop on fire and then run away.
Yeah.
On your front porch.
Yeah. But back to just to finish up the pregnancy thing. Yeah. She goes to lunch with dolls. They fall asleep in the meantime. They do have a bit of an issue where he finds out she's pregnant. He gets a little upset at first. Then in the middle, they share this kind of moment where she has to go off. He thinks she's kind of in danger, and he has this kiss. He kisses her. It's a nice kiss.
Right.
She returns it, and he says how remarkable she is. and they part ways. And then at the end of the episode, he forces her to kill the hypno dude.
Right.
And he reasserts himself as her boss. So I'm thinking that he's put up a wall there.
Yeah, he's trying to wall off his emotions. Yeah, he's
Which
probably.
I don't blame him.
I think he probably feels hurt by all this, and yeah, he's just trying to pretend like, okay, we're going to be totally professional about this. I'm in charge.
Even though he already knew about her and Doc, right? I mean, that's kind of dumb. It's not like she wanted to get pregnant.
Well, you know.
But now he has to deal with whatever's happening. So yeah.
Apparently, birth control. Just saying.
2 forms of birth control.
Right. So.
All right, and then
apparently that immortal sperm is more powerful than you think.
Yeah. So.
But maybe he figures that her being pregnant with Doc's, that makes her off limits as far as he's concerned.
Sure, and he might want to make sure that he stays out of that.
Right. I think he's probably going to keep an eye on Doc and make sure he takes care of Wynonna.
Sure.
That's my theory.
I think he's always done that anyway.
Yeah, but now even more so. Now, but that's going to be tinged by jealousy.
Right. More so than
over the
ever.
Pregnancy. Yeah.
Right. So finally, near the end of the episode, they all meet up in the basement of the bar.
Right.
And Doc finally sees that she's pregnant. It's the first time he's seen it, and it's like very near the end of the episode. What, about 15 minutes?
Oh, my stars. Did you swallow a basketball?
8 minutes, yeah. Yeah, he looks down. They have like a wordless conversation about the pregnancy, even though they're talking. And he says he hears people waking up upstairs that they'll want liquor.
Yeah.
And they kind of look at each other, and she nods to him saying, yeah, it's yours. And he ambles off upstairs.
We're not sure exactly how Doc feels about it at this point.
No, not at that point.
And
although he doesn't look openly hostile, he looks kind of...
No, but there was this comment. Sorry, there's a fly in the room.
I see that.
It's all freaking me out. It's like, ah! I grabbed it at one point, but it must have
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I went like
nice.
Caught it, but then it got away. So maybe I didn't kill it like I thought.
I actually saw it.
Yeah, it was. But so there was a comment that was earlier in the episode about how Doc, he doesn't like to commit.
Right. Well, Waverly finds him in bed with Miss Chemistry Set.
Miss Chemistry Set, yeah.
Yeah, and he says, it's no strings. That's how I like it.
That's how I roll.
Right. Exactly. That's what I say about my cat when he walks around. That's how I roll. Yeah, he's...
With a catitude.
He's talking a good game, and I think it's because he's upset that he can't be with Wynonna. That's how he kind of feels.
Well, that's how he's dealing with it. Is like, well, okay, if I can't be with Wynonna, I'm just going to bang this other chick.
Sure.
And yeah, go for it.
And he's playing it off.
Yeah.
To Waverly. Isn't that what guys do?
Some guys do.
Yeah.
Some guys are a bit more moral upstanding.
Right.
And don't need to go out and try to forget about chicks by being with other chicks, but
some guys
dames or
don't give in to their needs.
Yeah, exactly. Some of us are a little in control of our libidos.
Okay.
Whereas some of us are adults, believe it or not.
Some of you are.
Yeah, and then we talk about like Funko figures and stuff instead, but
Well, there's outlets and then there's outlets.
Exactly. But
there's online porn.
There's that too. Oh, yeah.
And it's free now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yay.
So, he talks to Waverly after Wynonna goes off, and Waverly says, I think she needs to be alone for a little bit.
Right.
He talks to her and hands her a note, passing notes in class. And,
do you like me? Check this box. Yes, no.
Right. Waverly shows up at the homestead, and this is almost literally right at the end of the episode. And Wynonna is sitting in a comfortable position.
Yes.
And I don't know, was she drinking or was she just...
I was wondering about that because it's like, maybe, I know you're kind of a raging alcoholic, but you might want to dial that back a little.
Not.
Yeah. I mean, you're 7 months pregnant?
Yeah.
At least.
Right.
Because you're showing pretty.
I think she might have been drinking, and it's not terribly unhealthy to have a drink or two when you're pregnant.
But really.
Yeah. Maybe she was just rolling that bottle around though, like lamenting the fact that she couldn't drink. That was my first thought. Is that she's rolling a bottle around?
You would think Waverly would be all over her about that because Waverly's Miss Goody Two Shoes.
Right. And then she says something about, "Oh, get off my case. This is the only position I'm comfortable in." And Waverly sits down and they kind of like share tears together. And Waverly hands her the note and Doc says, to give you this note. And they kind of hug and Waverly says, I'm here for you. And Wynonna says, I just don't know if I can do this. And then she opens the note and they hug some more and she lets the note fall. And Doc has written on the paper, I'm all in.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God.
I'm in a glass case of emotions.
Yes. I maybe smelled some onions being cut in my house at that point. I got a little teared up.
A little verklempt.
A little verklempt at that point because I'm all in.
Yeah. That
was like...
Well, yeah, and Doc told her to say, hey, give this to Wynonna, when the time is right.
Yeah. It was so sweet.
That's my cheesy Doc impression, by the way.
It was good.
It was all right.
Yeah, it was good.
Passable.
I liked it.
Okay.
You just need a hat.
I just need the mustache.
And a hat.
I need my hat.
Yeah, it's a good one. You have the rasp down.
Thank you.
I need my hat.
Yeah. You got to tell you. Well, it helps also that I'm totally congested.
Yeah,
with allergies.
We on the East Coast here where we are. He's northerner than me, but we have thunderstorms happening, so both of us are kind of in pressure change mode right now.
Northern, I am from the South. Thank you very much.
No, you're not. You're from the West.
Oh, okay. I'm from the West.
There you go. I don't know where he got his Southern accent from. Is he from the South? Texas.
It sounds like more like a Texas accent.
Yeah.
But,
like a foghorn leghorn.
Well, it's supposed to be really like around where the OK Corral was, wherever that is. I thought it was Texas, right?
Yeah.
Or was it somewhere else, like Wyoming or somewhere?
I think it's Texas.
I don't know.
Anyway,
now I'm curious. I'm gonna look that up while you keep talking.
All right.
See what you started.
Okay, so there's that storyline, and it was nice to see the Black Badge guy back, Art from
Tombstone, Arizona.
Arizona. So West.
Yes, I should know that. I don't know why I didn't know that.
It's all right. I didn't know it either.
Yeah,
but he's
we
from
learned
Texas,
something. We learned something today.
They actually went there from wherever they were from, so I think they were probably from Texas or something.
Right.
So Art from Orphan Black was back for a moment in this episode at the beginning, saying that he was ghosted from Black Badge. Black Badge was never an official agency.
It's a good thing he's got another show lined up now that Orphan Black is ending.
Yeah, it is. It is a good thing.
It's like he worked that out just in time.
I know, right? Well, they knew for a year that
That's true.
Orphan Black was ending. But yeah, now he does have a job. Hopefully he doesn't get himself killed here.
That's true.
Because Locutus...
Lots of Black Badge people seem to not stay around very long.
Right. It's pretty much just him and Dolls and Jeremy or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, only the three of them left. Because everyone else ghosted.
That's true.
So...
or was killed.
Right.
Yeah.
So Art shows up at the... I have no idea what his name is.
Just call him Art. We know.
I'm just going to call him Art. He shows up at the beginning, and he pulls a gun on Dolls, of course. Dolls is joined...
Moody, by the way.
Moody, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dolls is joined by Doc, who backs him up, and they all decide to lower their weapons. They have a discussion about how Black Badge has always been a shadow agency and good luck, you're on your own sort of thing. But I get the feeling that Moody's going to be watching over them. Why else would he be in this episode otherwise?
We are a shadow agency. We live in the shadows.
Come out of the shadows, Batman.
Sorry, it just seemed like a good place for a Bane interlude.
Come out of the shadows, Batman. Come into the light.
Come out of the darkness.
I was born in the shadows.
I never get
So
tired. I never
such
get.
a stupid impression.
But it's,
All it is like a voice with my hands over my mouth.
mine too, because that's the way I was.
That's Bane,
you like the way
essentially.
I was doing it.
And it's not even Tom Hardy's real voice either. I don't know what he does.
It's like
to make
this
his voice
this
sound-
affect that he's doing.
It's so affected, though.
Well, I think it's supposed to be like almost like South American, because the character's from South America.
Yeah, but it's not even
But
that.
not even that. Yeah, I have no idea
No.
what that accent is.
Yeah, me either. Okay, so anyway, and that is a comics-related discussion, by the way.
Yeah.
So, it's just the four of them now, really. Wynonna's Black Badge too, I guess. So
I guess she gets a promotion, right? Because there's nobody else.
yeah, I mean, really, they are the only ones working on all
No,
this
is it
stuff.
Waverly Black Badge?
Waverly's not.
Because she was like an agent under Locutus of Borg.
Well, I guess, but not officially. I think that her girlfriend was, though. The dolls made her Black Badge. So I think pretty much all of them kind of are.
Okay, might as well be.
Yeah, they're all working on that stuff. So everyone but the sheriff.
Hopefully, it's got a
Essentially.
decent insurance plan.
Yeah, right. Okay, so what he does, he gives them this information, and then he hands them this journal showing the widow,
Right.
and saying that Dolls wasn't the only one that broke out. This other entity came out. And thus starts the storyline of the widow. And it's the chick that Wynonna's been talking to this whole time.
Yeah,
from her
Mercedes Gardner.
right.
Yeah,
from
from
her
high school. Yeah, so
Right.
from like the high school reunion crowd.
Right. So thus the old friends, they're never like you remembered them.
Yeah, yeah.
She's one of the widows, and her sister.
We finally got a good explanation for
why
what
she's
has
weird.
possessed the Gardners.
Right.
Gardner sisters.
Right. So she's one of these widows, and she has blackmailed this Hypnotoad dude into stopping time
Yeah.
so that they can go and get all these seals. And they apparently have been looking for all the seals
Right.
around the town so they can perform some sort of ritual.
Oh, different seal. Sorry.
I almost did a story title with seals, but I was going to do like Army seals or Navy seals.
Navy seals.
Navy
seals.
seals.
It's Navy seals.
Sorry.
Yes, that's right.
So yeah, they're doing some
Seal. You should have called it SEAL Team 6.
SEAL Team.
SEAL Team 3.
3.
You like that because there's 3 widows.
Right.
Yeah, you like that?
That's good. Yeah.
All right.
So they have Hypno's daughter, Poppy.
Yes.
Is that her name, Poppy? Or Polly or something like that.
Hold on. Flipping through the notes. Got to look, scrolling through the notes. Line.
Come out of the notes, Polly.
I just have his daughter here. I don't have.
Okay. Her name is Poppy or
Okay,
Polly.
Let's go
One
with
of
it.
those.
Let's go with that.
And
But
they're blackmailing her, and
blackmailing.
of course,
Yeah, blackmailing him.
yeah. And of course, the brother finds out about this whole thing. He's
Tucker, yes.
Tucker. He's such a jerk.
Douchebag.
Yeah. Although, to be honest, he's less of a douchebag than his sisters.
True, but they're possessed.
Right.
Yeah. But
He's just normally a douchebag.
But Tucker's whole thing, remember, we talked about this last week, was that he's willing to work with the widows as long as they hook him up with a girl, a woman. Yeah.
And so he figures that Poppy's the one for him.
Yeah.
So he takes her and runs off.
Right.
And the team ends up finding him in order to get Poppy back to Hypnotoad dude.
I love that you call him a Hypnotoad dude.
In order to stop all the time stuff.
Yes.
The whole town is under this time stop or for the widows to find all the seals.
Right.
So one half of the team is doing that, and the other half is trying to find the seals and or the widows in order to stop whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
They do manage to find one of the seals under what used to be a Masonic temple.
Right.
And they grab that and they take it underneath the bar. And the widows track them there. And, that was no good. They shouldn't have done that, I guess. But hey, whatever. And they end up getting frozen by the widows who, if they could freeze people, why didn't they just do that to
That's
begin
what I'm
with?
saying.
But
Yeah, exactly.
whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go through this whole
I
big
guess they
elaborate
can't
plan.
do a whole town.
Yeah,
They can't do a whole town. They can just do one person at a time.
maybe.
And they've been killing and eating people, too, which is weird. I don't know where that's headed.
Yes.
They killed a priest at the beginning of the
true.
episode.
That's true. They did. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know where that's going so much.
I don't know if it's going anywhere, really. They're just going to capture some random person to keep them alive.
Right.
Like going out to Wendy's or something.
Well, the older sister said that it's going to get them caught. What you did with that priest. So I don't know if that's going to be the thing that gets them
Yeah,
caught.
well, maybe it'll lead Black Badge crew to them at some point. They'll kill somebody they shouldn't.
And there might be fingerprints there that lead them to the actual old friends.
Right, exactly.
And they'll be like, what? So there's that. And they end up pretty much just running them off.
Yes.
She shoots, Wynonna shows up and shoots Peacemaker at them, and they
scatter.
They flee.
Yeah.
And then, of course, what I said earlier.
And that's when she tells Doc that she's pregnant.
Right. Then after that, she and Dolls go and talk to the Hypnotude dude, and she is willing to wait to let him reunite with his daughter, but Dolls isn't. And Dolls reminds her she has a job to do to get rid of demons and stuff. And he says, he'll just get used again like this.
So he blows him away.
Right. So
it's like, hey, I'm get to reunite with my daughter. Oh, and then of course.
Hold on. Exactly. He reminds her that if he's vulnerable once, he can be vulnerable again. So Wynonna turns around and shoots him, and then turns back around to Dolls and goes, "Why'd you make me do that?" And it's just like a blam. Why'd you make me do that? It was very callous, but I get why.
Right.
She understood the point of the whole exercise was, we can't let him hang around with powers like that. So, that it wasn't nice.
And now you would think the daughter would be really pissed at Wynonna, right?
You would think.
You would think.
So, I don't think anything's going to come of that, but
who knows?
You never know.
You never know.
She might fall in with the hip widows. They have powers. We'll have to find out what their powers are too. So
the power of flight. Oh wait, no.
That might be everything.
I think so. Oh,
okay.
And we might as well talk about the that head that gets dropped off on the doorstep.
That was the Bone Witch.
Yeah, it was the Stone Witch.
Oh, the Stone Witch. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, and presumably it's Juan Carlo doing that, right?
It was the brother.
Oh, was it? Yeah,
the brother said they will never forgive me for what I've done when he lets go of Poppy and he jumps out the window.
Okay.
And then the sisters look at each other and they assume it's Juan Carlo, but I think it was their brother.
But you think it was Tucker? Okay.
Because he said they'll never forgive me for what I've done.
I think you're right.
And either he set it up or he did it himself.
That's true.
He could have. I mean, I think he had a hand.
You're probably right. So, I'll give you that one.
Well, it could have been a combination too.
We'll find out. Hopefully. Well, I don't know. Did you watch last night's episode?
No, I said I hadn't.
Okay, so that's good. So we're on an even keel today.
We are.
Yay!
We are. I have it.
I have it too, but I just haven't watched it.
Okay, so what did you give this episode?
I enjoyed this one. I thought it was I love timey-wimey stuff, so I'm all in for that. And it was an interesting way to handle the two important reveals of Wynonna's pregnancy.
Mm-hmm. To Dolls and to Doc.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I give it 8.5 Stone Witch heads.
Excellent. I should really bump mine up. I gave it 8. I think I should give it 8.5.
So we're going to be in sync then.
Can I bump it up to 8.5 right now on the fly?
Go crazy. Bump it up.
Okay. I give it 8.5 adrenaline shots because Wynonna had to give. What is Waverly's girlfriend's name?
Oh,
Hot.
Officer
Hot. She had to give Officer Hot an adrenaline shot.
How can you forget Way Hot?
I don't know. Because that's how I am with my meds, remember?
Oh, that's true. All right. Yep.
So I give it 8.5.
You get a pass then. Never mind.
Thanks. My meds do that to me.
Withdrawn.
I hate that.
Withdrawn.
Okay. Okay, on to the very controversially graded Creature.
Yeah, it was going to be a throwdown.
Dallas.
Written by Philip Bussier or Buiser, probably Buiser. Buiser, Bizer, maybe. Directed by Michael Morris.
Okay.
What's our A, B, and C, Karen?
Happy Little Not So Accident, and that is a tribute to Bob Ross, who also was in this episode. Because
yes, he was.
It's a happy little accident.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're just going to paint some happy little clouds.
That's the little flashbacks to Jesse and Tulip's time in Dallas.
Right.
Reverse psychiatry, which is a line from Parks and Rec that Andy says, and I always think of it when I hear reverse psychology.
Okay.
And this is the storyline with Cassidy, Jesse, and Victor, where Cassidy's playing a little mind game there with Jesse.
He is.
A little bit.
Yes.
So, reverse psychiatry. That's what Andy, played by Chris, Guardians of the Galaxy,
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt says.
You're welcome.
On Parks and Rec. He says, I don't want to talk to you anyway. And then he turns to the camera. It's like The Office sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he goes, reverse psychiatry.
It's breaking the fourth wall. Yes,
right.
Got it. All right. And then our C story?
Trapped in the closet. I don't want to get trapped in the closet.
Yep. If you remember that South Park episode.
Yeah. And that is our
Tom
C
Cruise
story
is trapped
about
in the closet.
And John Travolta, get out of the closet. They're both in it.
Right.
That is our Saint of Killers, very short side story.
Yes.
First of all, I would like to talk about the mirrors in this episode, if you don't mind.
Okay.
We have the reliving pain over and over from the flashback.
Right.
And also the mirror to hell.
Yes.
Hell is similar to that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So Jesse kind of went through his own hell in Dallas, where he had to keep reliving that.
That was a hell of his own making, though.
Well, isn't hell your own making? It's something that happened to you in real life.
Kind of.
That you're in hell for. I'm just saying it was kind of a mirroring.
But it's more of a rut, really.
Yeah, but it was bad.
Yeah.
And I think they were kind of showing us a similar thing here. Okay, and then the Monopoly game where Tulip throws it on the floor as she leaves.
Yeah, because of
quitting
course,
the game.
A Monopoly game has to get ended by somebody upending the board.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then her leaving her real estate job.
Yeah.
So she quits the real estate job because she can't take it. And then when she finds out about Carlos, she quits the Monopoly game, essentially leaving Victor.
Right. Hanging dry. Yeah.
Right. So a similar, she leaves Jesse, leaves Victor. And then the love triangle, past and present, which would be, the Victor, Jesse, Tulip, and then the Cassidy.
Right.
Jesse, Tulip. And then, of course, the weird mirror between Reggie and Cassidy.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing this episode did bring up is like, okay, Reggie was apparently their previous Cassidy from back in the day. Right?
What is with them that they keep picking up these
They're the kind of junkie sidekicks.
Yeah.
And
they tend to be punching bags.
Yeah. Well, as Cassidy has pointed out, Jesse has some issues.
Well, so did Reggie, apparently.
Right, but yeah,
Reggie didn't know when to shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Reggie chose the wrong moment to insert himself and be around at the wrong time during an argument he really shouldn't have been around for.
Right. Now, remember, Jesse didn't have the word back then.
Right.
So Reggie definitely could have left when Jesse said, sit down.
Yes.
I mean, I would have skedaddled. I don't care what Jesse would have said. I would have gotten out of there.
presumably Reggie didn't want to give up his cushy, like, hang out all day, watch TV.
Yeah, but during
lifestyle.
that fight, he went to get up,
Yeah.
and Jesse said, "Sit back down," and I would have said, "Okay, whatever." And then as soon as Jesse turned around, I would have been out the door.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a huge mirror between the two of them. I thought. I mean, they really
a parallel.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
And especially in this episode, where Reggie turns out to be kind of this punching bag for Jesse, and then later on he's not
going to take out his frustrations on Tulip. He takes it out on the sidekick. In this case,
right.
In this case, Reggie.
Right. Yeah. And Cassidy's playing mind games with Jesse in the present, where Jesse kind of punches him figuratively by not buying into his mind games.
Right.
In the end.
So now that you bring this up,
mm-hmm.
Can I go on my rant a little bit about this episode?
Sure. Why you don't like this episode
so much? This episode. Okay, this episode bothered me primarily because it's a very unpleasant episode to watch. Jesse is, as we find out, basically we find out the events leading up to, well, after Carlos splits on him,
mm-hmm.
and right before leads up to Tulip finding out that Carlos is still around, or where Carlos is. So we find out that Jesse has really let himself go.
Right.
He's rocking the
series. You could say that.
He's rocking the mullet a little bit, which, okay, that's more like the comics. That wasn't my issue. But he's just sitting around with Reggie rolling joints by using torn Bible pages.
Right. Well, that's more Reggie, but yeah, he's letting it happen.
Yeah, exactly. He's not stopping it.
Right.
And so they're just laying around. He basically has Tulip go off to bring in some money because, hey, he's not going to do it because he's going to just hang out with Reggie all day.
Right.
So, not cool.
No.
And his relationship with Tulip, especially at this stage, and Jesse comments about this, that, hey, he's no good for Tulip.
Mm-hmm.
But what really frustrates me, especially as a fan of the comic book, Jesse and Tulip aren't like that. They're far more in love than these characters are. I
agree.
I mean, yes, they'll scrap every so often, but there's an underlying love that I'm not seeing here especially in this episode.
Right.
They're just horrible people for each other.
They kind of are.
So I'm getting frustrated that the show is diverging so far from the comics that they're missing the core argument, or the core tentpole, if you will, of that, hey, Jesse and Tulip are really in love with each other.
Right.
And it's this crazy, passionate love. And, they're just here, Jesse's using Tulip. Tulip's, like, going on the side, doing things with Victor. And, she's got her, like, exploits.
Well, and she went back to working for Danny.
Right. She lies.
Without telling.
She lies to him about, like, not, quitting the house selling job that wasn't really her selling houses anyway.
Right.
But lies about that. Lies about the pregnancy test over and over.
Let them continue.
Yeah, I mean, basically he has hope. He's like, he gets down even at one point and prays to God that, hey, I hope this is the one this time. And Tulip is deliberately sabotaging this with birth control, as it turns out, which is just horrible and lying to. Right. So they're both being really horrible people to each other. And I'm like, this is not the Jesse and Tulip that I know and want to watch.
Right.
And especially at a time when the ratings aren't that great.
Yeah.
Why are you showing us this depiction of the characters instead of something we actually want to watch?
I get that. I really do.
So yeah, this is not my favorite episode.
Do you think they're trying to tell us that they were different people because of the miscarriage?
Right. And they kind of just beat the point over and over again. It wasn't just like, okay, we're going to have a quick flashback. We see Jesse's kind of laying around on the couch and not doing, but they just.
I mean, I get what you're saying.
It's the entire episode, and then we have the, like, over and over again with this pregnancy test. Jesse goes down to the corner store, gets a 6-pack of beer and a pregnancy test, comes home, they have sex, they'd wait for the pregnancy test, no good. So, over and over again. It was just miserable and depressing to watch.
It was depressing. The flashback scenes were, at least.
Right.
But underneath all that, and I validate your opinion definitely, because I do see that 100%.
So I'm not just crazy here.
No, but in the present day, he's so mad that she was with someone else,
right,
that he's willing to kill the guy.
Right. And
that kind of says the opposite, don't you think? I mean, just so madly jealous.
Well, he tries to be really cool about Tulip's out there. She'll be all right. She knows how to take care of herself.
Yeah, but he's not.
But yeah.
He's really not.
Well, if he wasn't, he'd be like, okay, Cassie, where is she?
Well, as soon as he finds out.
Right. But I mean, but before, Cassidy was just trolling him last week that, hey, I keep, texting her and she's not responding. Don't you think you should be worried about that? He
wasn't listening.
Yeah.
You know that he wasn't listening. He was watching the hand on the TV, and he was, he was uber focused on God last week. And as soon as he realized that she was off on her own and hadn't come back.
So you're saying that he was just fixated on the God thing, and that's why he wasn't worried then. But once it stopped.
Right.
Then his focus shifted back to Tulip.
Once it kind of hit him.
Okay.
That, where is she?
Right.
Then he dragged it out of Cassidy. And I think Cassidy, I don't know how far you want to get into this, but Cassidy definitely has an agenda.
Obviously. I agree.
We know that.
Yeah, we know that. We got that from last week's episode. That he's basically trying to sabotage their relationship really subtly.
Right. If you read the comic,
yeah,
you know that there's a lot more to it.
And that I don't have a problem with, because it's from the comic.
Right. Okay. I'm not saying.
But I mean, there's one point here in this.
But
just to some of there's a point here where Victor is taunting Jesse. And he says Tulip married him because, hey, you're an asshole. And
it was right.
And I can't really disagree with Victor on this one. But it's that's not the Jesse. I know the Jesse's, I know from the comics, is a bit more noble than that.
Right. I agree.
So it's bothering me.
I think that losing the baby kind of devastated them.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're trying to show.
Well, and I get that. I understand the miscarriage.
I know.
But again, that gets sabotaged. That whole sympathy gets sabotaged when you find out that Tulip was sabotaging her pregnancies.
Yeah, that makes me sad.
So it's I can't really feel bad about this, because that was all just Tulip not wanting to get pregnant with Jesse's baby because he's being such a loser.
I know.
Right?
And I think also that once she started back up doing jobs for Danny,
right,
she didn't want to be pregnant while she was doing that.
And that's fine, but...
Yeah, but she was lying to Jesse.
But the way she handled it, so they're just being horrible to each other.
Yeah. I agree. I get your point. I do.
Okay. So that's my rant, and I'm done.
Yeah. No, I understand. I really do. I liked that there was a lot of character development in the present day, too, is what I'm saying. Because of all the Cassidy mind games.
Right.
And with Jesse coming to the realization that killing Victor isn't going to do any good. With Tulip maybe kind of seeing that what she had done was wrong. And, between the three of them, there was some forward movement in this episode. In the present day.
Yeah.
In the past day, not so much.
All right.
So I liked that. I like character arcs.
Well, I'm fine with a character arc, but this was just...
you just didn't like the past.
It was unpleasant to watch. I thought it was... I thought they just brutalized the point of
too
what
much.
they were... Too much, yes.
See, and for some reason, I thought that was really interesting, even though it was depressing. I thought it was interesting to find that out.
I just didn't want to watch an entire episode of Jesse and Tulip being horrible to each other.
Yeah, I get it.
That's all.
But a lot of things happen to them in the comics too.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll feel better next week about it.
Yeah, I think so. And the trailer for it from Comic-Con is amazing.
Right, because that's for the rest of season 2, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it has a lot of hair star in it.
Yay.
Have you seen it?
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, Well, let me.
I'm
I'll
behind on
tell
my
you this
trailers.
one. I'll tell you this one thing.
Yeah.
The Saint of Killers goes to a bar
Right.
and he orders a shot,
Okay.
and the bartender pours it for him and doesn't even look twice at him. And he says, "So you from around here?" And the Saint of Killers goes, "No, Texas." And he goes, "Oh, what you in town for?" And the Saint of Killers drinks the shot and puts it back down. He goes, "I'm here to kill someone." And then the bartender looks at him, and we've seen him all this time.
Right.
But then it kind of looks at him in detail, and he is just covered in the blood and guts of everyone he's killed so far. And they have said that they've done this on purpose,
Right.
to kind of build up this like layer of all the people that he's killed.
Yeah.
So to make it like his hell experience of him reliving that over and over.
Yes.
Now he is like walking around with every kill that he's made on Earth.
Yeah, everywhere he goes, he's experiencing his own personal hell.
Right.
Got it.
So he's like carrying blood and brain, viscera, and all this around with him. So he's got like stuff on his beard and
Right.
stuff on his hands. And
But only he can see it.
no, the bartender can see it.
Oh, the bartender can see it. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
everybody can see it.
Okay.
So the bartender turns around and actually at this point he looks at the Saint of Killers and it's like, "Oh, okay, I see you're here to kill someone. Great. I hope it's not me." And it cuts to the next scene, obviously, but
Got it.
I'm assuming that bartender doesn't have much time left after it cuts.
Probably
'Cause-
not. Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
So-
was a funny scene and lots of hair star
Okay, good.
in it. Okay, anyway.
So you want to talk about, while we're talking about the Saint of Killers,
Yeah, let's talk about
We-
that. The
talk about
Saint of
Trapped in the-
Killers
Trapped in the Closet.
comes in at the end of the episode, and he goes through Victor's house, which Jesse has pretty much left
yeah.
untouched because he realizes killing Victor's not going to do anything to him. And the Saint of Killers comes through and kills everybody, gets up to Victor. Victor's reading a story to his daughter.
Yeah, because this was after Jesse had almost killed Victor.
Right.
So so Cassidy was like told the daughter, "Hey, guess what? He didn't kill your old man."
Right.
So you have this moment. The daughter goes up to Victor and says, "Hey, would you read me a story?"
Yeah. So he's reading her, like,
And you think, "Oh, okay,
ledgers
this
or
is just
something.
really sweet."
Yeah.
And then, which of course is the big setup on Preacher for something really horrible to happen.
Of course. And you start hearing all these guns, and he sends her into the closet,
Right.
which is, "I'm gonna get trapped in the closet." So she goes into the closet, and Victor's sitting there on the floor, and the Saint of Killers comes in and scares him S-less
Yes.
and asks where the preacher is. And when he doesn't answer him within a second,
Yep.
he blows Victor away. He doesn't have much patience.
Oh, sorry
SOT.
about your bedtime story there, sweetie.
Right? And he goes to open up the closet,
Right.
and the little girl volunteers very quickly.
Well,
"I know where the preacher
Yeah,
is."
he's about to kill her as well. He raises the
Right.
gun to her, and then
Right.
then she's like, "Oh, hey, I know." And this kid isn't really unfazed.
Well, she's been around this.
Apparently, she's seen some stuff, which is why,
Victor's a mob boss.
which is why she spat in Tulip's face,
Right.
which is
Right.
you would think big mistake,
Yeah.
but apparently, Victor's daughter doesn't give an S.
Nope.
Doesn't give an F.
doesn't.
Yeah. Just like
doesn't.
Janice from accounting.
That's right.
Janice,
John Oliver reference for the win.
Exactly. Janice from accounting don't give an F.
Doesn't give an F.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she volunteers very quickly. "I know where the preacher is."
Right. So
And,
maybe this spares her. We don't know.
Well, I've
You-
seen the trailer.
Oh, I'm guessing not.
She trots away.
Oh, she does.
Yes.
Okay.
She's a pretty smart kid.
Okay. But
So,
that's our cliffhanger for the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. And I do like where Cassidy and Jesse are speaking with each other. And he says to Jesse says, "If I kill him, we're done."
Right.
And Cassidy says, "What? You and Tulip?" And Jesse
Yeah.
says, "Yeah." And Cassidy says something like, "What? No.
No,
Jesse
you
and
two.
Tulip?"
I don't know. That's crazy talk.
Right.
There would be nothing.
And of course,
that's never going to happen.
right. And that's
you
the
two were
reverse
made.
psychiatry
You two were
thing.
made for each other.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where he's saying to him, hey, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah,
ahead. Take that
break-
chance.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And I just thought it was kind of evil of Cassidy. And you and I know, and the readers of the comic know, that is light coming from Cassidy. There's lots of things that happen.
It's interesting that both Jesse and Tulip seem to be aware that Cassidy's manipulating them.
Or at least manipulative.
At this stage.
Right. They feel like they can't trust him, but they just don't know why.
But they don't do anything about it, really.
Right.
They just let it happen.
They know he lies a lot.
Right. So they're just like, junkie. We know how we feel about each other.
Right.
But yeah. So obviously Cassidy's going to do something worse. I
wanted to tell you, we didn't get any French in this episode because there was some question as to whether Dennis was dead or not.
Well, yeah, and that was something I wanted to bring up is that so Victor's daughter, who's told to go inside the room and watch cartoons or whatever with Denis, yes. Well, it's Denis. It's Denis.
I know, but he calls him Dennis.
Yeah, I know. So, but he sends him in there, and then the daughter comes out and says,
is he dead?
Is he dead? But nobody pays attention to her.
I know.
Like it doesn't even register.
It does. Cassidy kind of looks in there and goes, "No, he's all right. That's just Dennis." And then he hands her a bag of dried lentils.
Yeah.
And sends her back. Here, take your lentils, go in and watch TV with Dennis.
Yeah.
And she goes in. Now, there are a lot of theories as to who Dennis is, actually.
Okay.
They think he might be the voodoo priest that Cassidy knows. He comes in later on. That fly, man.
I think I got it.
Do you?
I don't know.
It hit you right in the mic.
Yeah, it was just like, boom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully I got it this time.
Yeah. There's theories that he might be...
It's gunning for me, man.
He might be Cassidy's dad.
Nah. No, I don't think so.
As in vampire dad.
Oh, you mean his sire?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because if that was the case...
saying there's theories.
If that was the case, why would Denis be dead on the floor?
He's not dead.
He's dead. He's passed on.
You think he was dead?
He's moved on and joined the Bleeding Choir Invisible.
Okay.
Unless you've seen him in the trailer.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I have no idea.
He's dead. He's bleeding demised.
And then I wanted to mention that the church sign that Jesse passes, it always says the same thing. It never changes. I don't know how many months pass in that time. But it says, "Do not lose heart, for we will reap if we do not grow weary."
Okay.
So things always mean something on this show. Yeah. I don't get it.
Maybe it's the producers trying to talk to the audience. It's like, hey, we know this episode was not the greatest.
Well, and I also want to mention that in the last couple episodes, there's been a painting up in Dennis's house. And when Tulip and Cassidy had that little fight in this episode, it was missing. And then it was back up again afterwards.
Interesting.
So some people were kind of wondering what the deal was with that. So, I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, I might go back and look at it myself.
Now you got me wondering about it.
It's a famous painting, apparently, but it's got like asparagus, and it's like a still life painting.
Okay.
So, it's got three different
Do you know who it's by?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay. If you know...
It was no one like uber famous.
If you know, let us know on their Facebook page.
It's on Reddit.
Or Twitter. Yeah, okay.
I scour Reddit for whatever. But I actually picked out the sign myself.
That's true. You get just down there in the muck with the dregs of humanity on Reddit.
I do. But the symbolism was mine, just so you know.
Right.
And I read the church sign for myself.
Okay.
In this one, I did not need them to translate any of this.
Good.
I just went there to read some stuff this week, and I saw some theories. So that was the postulation I got for that.
Ooh, good word.
All right, so what did you give this episode? You did not like it.
I did not like it, but I mean, it was still well done.
You didn't hate it.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's not, it was okay.
Preacher's still Preacher.
It wasn't the usual level of Preacher that I prefer.
Mm-hmm.
So I respected
harder to watch Preacher.
I respected it for what it was. So I gave it 7.5 Bibles propping open a window Because
Yeah.
obviously this was a big symbol in this episode, this
It
Bible
was.
that was either used to prop open a window or has having the pages ripped out and then propping an open window afterward.
Right. Well, and Jesse didn't look thrilled that Reggie was
Right.
ripping out.
And I think maybe that was because of hearing about his father's church. Maybe that was a subconscious way of realizing that, hey, I need to go back to Anvil.
Yeah. So we kind of get the backstory of them both going to Texas.
Yeah. And your rating?
To Anvil.
You were more generous than I was.
I gave it a whole grade higher. I liked it. I thought it was a little depressing, but I did like seeing that gap.
Yeah.
I liked seeing that gap coverage in the time between Carlos and Anvil, between the two of them, and what happened with Victor. And I wasn't fond of how they acted towards each other, but I liked the cinematography in it and the way they filmed it and everything. And I don't think it was terribly out of character, even though it made them not seem like they were in love with each other.
Okay.
So I gave it 8.5 holy joints because, Bible.
Exactly. So we're kind of sort of similar in our ratings.
Kind of.
As far as, like the...
Yeah, Bibles and holy
Bible,
joints.
because the Bible gets
propping
used to, the holy joints.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
all right. Hopefully Preacher rebounds next week.
Well, from the trailers, the rest of the season looks crazy.
That's what I want from my Preacher. Crazy.
Yeah, we still have 8 episodes
crazy
left.
Crazy and non-depressing. That's what I want.
Well, Hair Star, seriously?
Yeah.
Saint of Killers catches up to them next week. I don't know what's going to happen yet when that happens. I just know that she's going to show them to the building where they are.
Okay.
So...
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know what's going to happen now. In the comic, they kind of teamed up for part of it.
Right.
Remember?
Right.
So I don't know whether that's going to happen or not.
Yeah. I'm rereading some Preacher. That's
way towards the end when they all decide that God has pissed them all off enough that they team up.
I don't know if they're going to do that just yet.
Yeah.
I hope so, because I want to see that later.
Right, but obviously he doesn't kill them because it would not be Preacher anymore.
Exactly. We wouldn't have a show.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of figure out what happens next. And of course we know that Hair Star is going to play a big part. So how are they going to morph into that? And of course we're going to see more of Hell. So I can't wait to see that as well.
I just want to know when Hoover is going to hook Hair Star up with a whore.
We also see in that trailer Hair Star and Hoover and...
Because that's the big start of the downfall of Hair Star.
That's right. We see them all in their white outfits.
We got to see that.
Hair Star and his little army with all their white suits in the trailer. So I can't wait. Okay, so we do have feedback from Justina
all right.
about Wynonna Earp, so let's play that.
Let's hear that.
Hi, Karen and Charles. Another fantastic episode of Wynonna. Doc is all in, and I am so glad, since I ship Doc and Wynonna.
Aww.
The most interesting part of the episode for me? You have never followed the rules, Wynonna, and it appears that your offspring is doing the same. What do you get when you mix the Earp air with a man that's older than Colorado? I can't wait to find out. Side note, that new character, Jeremy, he's adorable. This episode gets 9 out of 10. People caught sleeping in compromising positions. Have a super week.
Thank you, Justine. Rather quick, but you even liked it more than we did.
Yeah, but barely. We're kind of all on the same page.
Yeah, but I mean, she went that extra mile. She went that extra half point.
Yeah, she did. Well, she likes Jeremy a little more than we do, I think.
I'm okay with Jeremy.
I mean, he's cute.
I like Jeremy bantering with Doc because there's just such two opposites.
You know what they remind me of? Foghorn Leghorn and the Chicken Hawk.
Kind of, but Jeremy's more likable than the Chicken Hawk. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Come on, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Where can we go? All right, boy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Go watch some Foghorn.
Go away, boy. You bother me.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't that that kind of what they do? Because he's always pushing Jeremy.
Kind of, but he puts up with his nonsense. He's like
Well, sure,
he kind of respects him a little bit.
a little bit.
So
Did you see the look he gave Jeremy when they were looking into that hole and he was going, "What would the Rock do? What would the Rock do?"
I think he maybe kind of sees Jeremy as like an annoying little brother that he's actually kind of sort of likes but won't admit it.
Right.
That's my take on it. So,
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Still, it reminds me of that kind of, "Shut up, boy, you bother me," just a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But thanks, Justina,
Okay,
for chiming in, because we always love to hear from you.
Every week.
And so thanks for chiming in with your Wynonna Earp, so we don't totally,
Yeah,
so we don't lose you for the summer.
I have to say right now.
Yeah.
That she didn't send me a message for a couple days on Twitter, and I was like, "Justina, hi! I just want to say hi. Where are you?"
Did you panic?
I did a little bit, and then she was like, "Yeah, it's busy here," and I was like, "Oh, thank God."
Phew.
So, Justina, I do notice when I don't talk to you.
Yeah, we're gonna have to put up an Amber Alerts for Justina.
I know, right? So if I don't hear from you,
yep,
you have to talk to me every day. I need to talk to her more often.
Karen's just a little protective. That's all.
Not just protective, but she's my friend. I like to hear from her.
And that's great.
Yeah.
I'm your friend too.
Yes, of course. I talk to you all the time, though.
I know that. Oh, so okay, but
I sent you a book this week.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Which I have not looked. I've opened it, but I have not read it because of being busy. But I'm gonna try and get to it.
No,
I'm gonna at least try to get through a few chapters. And
that book is crazy weird.
Yeah.
I just want to say something, and it has nothing to do with comic books. I gave this book to Charles because I thought he might like it.
I'm trying to figure out why you think I would like it.
Trust me, when you start reading it, you might understand.
Okay, all right.
It's weird.
Well, I appreciate weird.
It's not a romance at all.
Okay.
At all.
Okay.
It's called Made for Love by Alyssa.
I know it involves dolphin sex, but...
Yes, by Alyssa Nutting.
So apparently you think I'm into dolphin sex.
No, it doesn't make it sound glamorous at all.
Okay, got it.
The guy's nuts. Okay, so it's Made for Love by Alyssa Nutting. And I gave it 5 stars, and I actually reviewed it on Goodreads. So if you
I'm going to check that out. I'm going to check
my Goodreads profile is in my bio on my blog site.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and tell them about that while we're at it?
Oh, let's do. I'm at Aliveria on Twitter.
Yeah.
And also at Allies_stuff on Twitter. In my bio, in both places, you can find a link to my blog, at which you can find my links to everything else, including my Goodreads profile, which has a bunch of reviews to books. This one, it's the first one in a long time that I've reviewed from a personal copy. That wasn't something that I was given in order to review.
Oh, very cool.
So, yeah, it was. I was like, I have to review this right now.
And please check out her reviews, because Karen is a really good writer, in my opinion.
Yeah?
I think so.
All right.
I think when you were talking about your very personal stuff, and that just really impressed me.
Well, thank you.
I mean, not that I didn't think you were capable of it, because I know you're capable, more than capable of it. But it really impressed me with your writing skills. So,
okay. If I only have to write a few paragraphs, it's fine, I think.
So,
but anything more than that, and I tend to repeat words.
Not that you need my respect, but you have it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it greatly.
So,
coming from someone who writes as well as you do.
Yeah, I read okay.
Better than me. It's true. I like my reviews because I feel like I think I'm a very thoughtful reviewer. I take time to...
Yes, you're very insightful in your reviews.
Yeah, I take time to pick out like character beats and things like that. So
I go for more like, goofy stuff, or like, just stuff that strikes me odd that I want to rant about.
I do that too.
But you get more thoughtful about your subject matter.
Well, I once used this is one of my favorite terms when it comes to like romance tropes, when it's like hate to love romance tropes. I use the word sandpapery, and I used it in one of my reviews, and it's a friend of mine on Twitter that wrote the book, Jessica Lemon, and she wrote me back and she's like, sandpaper, I love that word. And I was like, oh, I use that all the time. But hey, thanks.
It's great imagery.
Yeah, I mean, rubbing up against each other and
The roughness and the coarseness.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a perfect
the
word.
abrasiveness of it.
Yeah, for that sort of thing. So I tend to use words that might not actually be.
It was very evocative.
Yeah. So I do stuff like that.
Yes,
but anyway,
but I like
this
it.
book,
I respect it. So
Made for Love, it's so crazy. If you like comic books,
yes.
I mean, it's a geeky sort of.
And if you don't like comic books, what the hell are you doing listening to our podcast? Because
right,
you gotta love comic books, right?
Right. There's a lot of like future tech talk in this book.
Right.
So that's why I recommended it to you. But anyway, that here.
What is this bizarre segue that's happening right now?
That was a segue.
We were talking about you, so
and it was bizarre.
It wasn't that bizarre. All right. So anything else?
You?
Me, of course, at Charles Skaggs on the Twitter machine, at Charles Skaggs on the Instagram, Google Plus for all you crazy kids on the Google Plus, and got followed by the Capes and Lunatics podcast on the Google Plus. So cheers to Phil, I'm guessing, who was responsible for that.
Very nice.
So thanks, Phil. And also, Facebook, of course, at Charles Skaggs. And my blog of geeky things.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
2 mentions in this episode.
Yep.
So thanks for that. Damn Good Coffee and Hot, where I talk about all the comic book shows that we cover here on the Fandom Zone podcast and more, including comic book movie news and comic book TV shows and all the stuff that's tried to cover as much as possible from San Diego Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. I can only do so much. I'm only one person, but I give it my best shot.
Right.
And then, of course, my other 2 podcasts that I do, Next Stop Everywhere, the Doctor Who podcast that I do with a friend of the show, Jesse Jackson, and Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast that I do with Zan Sprouse, where we're covering the Showtime revival of Twin Peaks.
Awesome sauce.
So please check those out. I would definitely appreciate it.
Very nice. And if you want to send us feedback like Justina does, we are at facebook.com/Fandom Zone Podcast.
Right.
FandomZoneCast@gmail.com.
Right.
At Fandom Zone Cast on Twitter. And you can listen and subscribe to us in Apple Podcasts. And leave us a review.
Yeah, please,
Get us seen.
Yeah, please do. We haven't had a review in a while on the iTunes or the Apple Podcast. So please do that because it helps people find our little podcast. And we want to spread the word.
And it makes me grit my teeth every time Storming the Castle gets likes and the Fandom Zone podcast doesn't.
You mean dangerous? You mean Dangerous Habits?
No,
because Dangerous Habits
Storming the Castle still gets 4 or 5 likes a week.
Yeah,
which makes me insane.
Dangerous Habits seems to. I'm thinking we need to merge the Facebook or the Fandom Zone podcast page with the Dangerous Habits Facebook page.
Can you do that?
I think so. There's an option to merge pages.
Okay.
So, but I'm just saying, I think maybe we should so that we can kind of combine efforts.
Okay.
But just throw that out there.
All right.
What do you think? Think it over.
I would be okay with it if it's seamless.
Yeah.
Because, they're the same people, really.
Right.
So look us up on Facebook, please, and give us a like.
Okay.
Because, Fandom Zone Podcast on Facebook. We have a really neat header.
Yes.
Whoever made that image is awesome.
She is awesome. She is the bestest. And I look forward to her upcoming season 4. So
I'm already starting.
I hope you're starting because, we got a lot of shows. We have lots of shows to update that with.
There's already a lot in there that has
but
I don't have to worry about.
There's some stuff we could take out, like we got a whole bottom row on that thing that could probably be revised.
Yeah.
Like with the Inhumans and the Punisher and other stuff. So or
none of this can go away though.
The Gifted.
I know.
So there's that bottom row. I think
the bottom row can change.
That's what I'm thinking.
None of the other rows can go away.
Unless you want to update the upper rows, the upper 2 rows.
To the new graphics?
Yeah, new graphics and whatnot.
Yeah.
You could do that, but I would just if you're gonna add stuff, I would just do it on the bottom row.
Right. Because I put like here's stuff that might be coming soon.
Yeah.
On the bottom row.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll update it, and I have some music for the theme that I'm thinking about doing.
Ooh, cool.
So
excellent. So
keep an eye for that.
Yeah, because we're only like a couple months out from season 4 of the Fandom Zone podcast.
Takes me a while to gather things together.
That's okay. You got a lot going on, so
at least there's some trailers now that I can pick things out, and there might be some more trailers for the TV shows coming up soon.
Exactly.
So I can pick out some sound bites from those. That's what I did last year.
Yep. All right, so I think that about does it.
I think so too.
Thanks to everybody for listening to this episode 111
of the Fandom Zone.
And we'll be back with episode 112, where we cover more Preacher and Wynonna Earp.
That's right. Talk to you next week.
Bye, everyone. I do declare, Bane, is that you on the other end?
And trapped in the closet.